Mhm.
And I guess my questions are if you can show us some other exchanges and how they work. I tried to get into KuCoin at one point and it was a little confusing. It's not as simple
Mhm.
as Coinbase.
Yes,
And
correct. Yeah.
let's see.
KuCoin, just for your information too, so KuCoin does not support US users.
Mhm.
So you should go on with a VPN. If you have a
Yes.
VPN, you could do that. You know what I can do? I take
I
notes here all the time. So what I'm
I
going to
do
do,
have a VPN, and
okay,
I opened an account with a VPN and all of that. But when I
beautiful.
got to the point where I was actually going to buy crypto,
Mhm.
it's very confusing the way it's set up with
It
the
is.
banking or whatever institution or whatever. So
Mhm.
so that's why I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, and so I should not be putting any money into this.
That's
So
not,
that's
so real quick, and then I'll do this here. What I'll end up doing is I'm gonna record videos on KuCoin, record videos on Bitmart,
Bitmart,
and
yeah.
each of these, and Binance.us, these different
Mhm.
exchanges, on how you operate and navigate them, and then send them to you guys. So I'm gonna send
Awesome.
them as video links to you guys. So I will do that. I'll create those. Basically just showing how to navigate those different ones because they are quite different, right?
Mhm.
KuCoin is more of a trading platform where Coinbase is more your user-friendly, easy to start
Yeah.
platform. And so is Binance.us. That
Okay.
also is. So Binance.us, and I'm going to send you guys a link because I think if I send a link, they give you some free coins and they give me some free coins for that. So I'll send you guys the link for that.
Okay.
Link for the exchanges again. And same with the IRA. So I
Mhm.
Trust Capital IRA is running a special, I think through July. I got to send you guys a link for I Trust Capital, a new one, because I think what it does is give you $200 worth of Bitcoin for free when you sign up, which is big. It
Yeah,
was
that's
100.
nice.
They doubled this temporarily. So that's pretty big. So I want to get you guys signed up into the iTrust. So I'm going to have to send a new link because it's a whole separate one, I believe, on that. So I will get that going for iTrust Capital. I actually just fully funded my IRA for 2022 this year with them. I did a Roth IRA. Figure for cryptos, you're going to want to do Roth because those gains we're going to get over time. You know, let's actually talk about that real quick. So if you're going to do a Roth IRA, or do an IRA period, does it make sense to do a traditional or a Roth in cryptos? To me personally, it makes sense to do a Roth just because down the road, I'm looking at really big gains potentially outdoing the stock market and other markets. So you want those to be tax-free gains, right? You want to be able to get those tax-free as much as possible. So do a Roth on those if you can. And if you already have a traditional, you got to look at how much you can actually do. Because, you know, if you have traditional and a Roth IRA, I think there are maximum contributions if you have both. I don't know what that is. I don't know for sure. Actually, that could actually be somebody really good for me to bring on, somebody maybe from iTrust Capital to talk about this. I do have, for everybody's information, I do have scheduled for 2 weeks from now, 2 Thursdays from now is what I have scheduled for the next meeting. And I have John Dwyer coming on. He's talking about the life insurance. So it's the infinite banking system, life insurance policies, where the whole life policies, where you can use them to basically banking with life. You can use them for buying cryptos, buying real estate, buying whatever you want. You know, you can use it to buy a car, education, all those things. So he's going to come on. He's going to talk for somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour for that next one. And he's going to give a lot of great information to you guys. And if you guys have interest in utilizing him, you'll be able to help. All his contact will be there so you can go ahead and take advantage of that. I've had mine for 8 years, and it is, I could tell you, for me personally, it's the best. I like it better than an IRA, better than a 401k, simply because I can pull my money out without any questions, right? I don't, you know, with IRAs, you're limited to education, for medical, for certain things, you could pull it out. Same thing with the 401ks. Plus, I think the 401ks limit you to about 50%.
Mhm.
Of what you could take out, depending on if it's employer sponsored or if it's self-employed. these are unlimited. They're limited in a way. So my first year, when I first funded my policy, I had to wait 30 days. But 30 days after I funded my policy, I could pull 70% of what I put in there cash wise to borrow to use against it. And then a year 5, for me, roughly around year 5 is where it went to 100%. So now I'm in year 8. So when I put my money in, when I fund my account each year, 30 days after I fund it, I could pull 100% out of what I funded it with and use it for whatever. And again, you have the loan fee. Generally, they're 5%. John is going to talk about how you can do it a different way, and he's going to connect me with this too, where you're going through a third-party bank where you only get charged, I think, 2.5 or 3% on your loan against your life insurance policy, which is great. Me, I don't mind the 5% because I'm making more than a 5% return, so it's fine for me paying that back. But that's something to think about. Is that something you had interest in, Edna, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know if they can help in purchasing a term life insurance, converting that into their type of investment?
I believe so. So
Okay.
I believe John knows how to tie all that stuff together. I know the
Okay.
gentleman I did because I had a term policy and this was incorporated with it. The term was brought together with the whole life. And what they do is they look at it in conjunction because you want a certain amount in a death policy, right? You want a certain amount that when you pass away, that you know you're going to be able to give your family and they're going to be good. That's your term, right? Which is just money being burned, right, each year, really. But it's your safety net. And your whole life policy is what you build and grow and grow and grow. So that's such a valuable policy. And I'll tell you how I used it in real estate to pay for, I think it was 2.5 years of paid up additions riders for me. So I bought a piece of real estate for just under about $42,000, actually slightly less than that, about 4 years ago. And I rented it for 2 years and took that rental income and I was using that to pay my policy each year, right? And then I sold that. I was 50,000 in it with renovations. I sold that 2 years later for $153,000, which then funded my paid up additions riders for years to come. So that's how you can utilize it and really get tremendous growth from it. Now, I was fortunate. I was in an accelerating real estate market, which we're probably not in right now. If anything, we're flatlining or maybe potentially going down. I love this group because most of you guys are real estate investors too, like me. So we could talk both with it and where we are in a real estate cycle, I guess you want to call it. If we're in a real estate cycle, we're at the peak, we're near the peak. I think we've already hit the peak, and I think we're either flatlining and maybe trading sideways like crypto is right now. And eventually we'll go down as rates go up or as jobs become more scarce, all these different factors. But we have such constricted inventory in real estate right now. We still have record low inventory levels, right? But because of that, it's hard for real estate to really drop. You have to have a lot of inventory. It's basic macroeconomic supply and demand. In order for the prices to really drop, you need more inventory. You need to have an excess of inventory. We have such a shortage of inventory right now in real estate that you're just not going to have that dramatic drop. Even if rates shot up to 8-9%, which would stall the real estate market, but it wouldn't shock it. It would allow time for inventory to build up where it becomes more of a normal market. So where we are in the real estate market compared to where we are in the crypto market is, so the old saying is be fearful when others are greedy, which is where I think we are in the real estate market, right? We're fearful where others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful, which is where we are in a crypto space right now, which is why I'm trying to shift some funds into cryptos right now, more money into the crypto market, even though I think we potentially have another down leg coming in the market cycle here. But we're also going to hit that up. And I don't mind buying that, knowing that it could go down a little bit more because you're trying to dollar cost average in. If it dips a little bit more, you buy a little bit more, and then you go up and you're great. It kind of reminds me of 2018 in the crypto market right now, where we are. 2018 is kind of where it feels like it. Maybe 2018, 2019. But I do still feel we're going to have a nice uptick later on this year. We just have a lot of headwinds right now, right? We have the war going on. We have inflation. We have rising costs so a lot less spending cash for people to have right now because we've got gasoline going up. Unfortunately, we've got food costs going up. inflation going through the roof in almost every sector. We're seeing in real estate how much it costs for us to rehab a property, to pay the contractors and all that has gone up so much. So all these things are headwinds. And what tailwinds do we have? In real estate, the only tailwinds we have is low inventory. In the crypto space, the tailwinds we have right now is we have very the software and the developers out there are getting more and more creative and better and better and better. So you don't see it in a bear market. In a bull market right now, you would see certain cryptos like Theta, like Persistence, like Polkadot, Cardano especially, skyrocketing in a bull market right now with what's going on with those particular cryptos. But in a bear market like we're in right now, they're not doing that, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, there was a nice increase for Cardano. Cardano went up from about 45 cents to 61 cents. It's sitting about 58 right now over the past couple of weeks. And part of that's because of what's called the Vassal hard fork. And the Vassal hard fork is basically the blockchain undergoing a software upgrade. So the software is being upgraded, which is going to make this blockchain ultimately better, faster, and more dynamic. I really love what Charles Hoskinson is doing with Cardano. It's why it's one of my favorite cryptos. But what he's doing is tremendous. So now you're looking, all right, if we're in a crypto bear market, right? We're in a market where it's fairly trading sideways, maybe going down a little, going up a little, but it's not a whole lot of movement either way. You want to be in the top cryptos, the best ones. Whether it's Bitcoin, which is going to hold your money, it's becoming more and more like a stable coin right now, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, which I'm not as big of a fan of, but it's still more of a stable coin right now. It is still the number 2 cryptocurrency out there per market cap. And it's still got growth to go before other cryptos such as Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, and Algorand and other ones overtake it down the road, potentially overtake it down the road, or at least steal market share from it. So we're in an interesting spot right now with some of these different cryptos. This actually leads me to, I want to do a screen share with you guys.
So I have left all of my investments the same as when we had the master class.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And lost about 45%.
Yes.
So far. So I'm hanging on, right? But I also, if we can cover in this class any strategies for this particular market, as well as strategies for hopefully when the market picks up.
Let's talk about those strategies right now. I think that's a great point, Edna. And that's one of the big things I wanted to cover tonight, besides Luna and some other things. But let's get into this because this is more important because we can always touch on some of these other subjects later. So when you have a market that's trading like this, for instance, my dad put 50K last spring. I want to say it was around March, April of last year, of 2021, when the market was really a bull market taken off right before the May crash, like late May crash we had. I think it was around May 21st, somewhere in that range. And his $50,000 is now around $8,500, just to let you know. And I'll tell you, and I'll go back story further back for me, going back to 2020. So I started investing in the cryptos around, I would say it was around May of 2017. So about 5-6 years ago now. And that's when Bitcoin was around, I would say 1,800, somewhere in that range. I started buying, and at 2,800 was when I really started to pick up a little bit more. And then it took off that year and went to 17 and then at 20,000 right in December, around December 17th of 2017. And it really just took off. And then the next year it crashed in 2018. So what happens in these cycles is Bitcoin takes off, the altcoins are behind, they then catch up and overtake and surpass Bitcoin. They call it a blow off top. And what a blow off top is, so Bitcoin is stopped, the Bitcoin dominance then starts to drop. As the Bitcoin dominance drops, the altcoins are taking all of the market cap from it. So then they steal. When you see the altcoins going through the roof, it's a red flag to tell you, hey, it's time to sell a lot of my altcoins and take a lot of profits. So what I didn't do last time, I didn't sell much of my altcoins. I didn't sell any altcoins during that time or any of my Bitcoin. I just sat on it Figure, you know what, it'll go through, and the next year it'll increase. Well, it didn't. 2018 was a down year. 2019 was a down year. And 2020, the first half of it, obviously with COVID and everything, was a down year. So my 110,000 I put in as of March 17th, whenever COVID shut everything down, was down to $33,000. So I had a massive, like an 80% drop in my portfolio, more or less. And then what I did was, going back to life insurance policy, I took out a $25,000 loan against my life insurance policy because Bitcoin went down to 4,840 in March. I was telling my wife, and she probably thought I was nuts, but I'm like, look, it is cheaper to buy Bitcoin now than it is to mine it. It's never happened like that in a long time, right? It did not happen a long time where it's cheaper to buy it than mine it. So I decided, all right, I'm going to buy some more Bitcoin. So I bought $25,000 worth of Bitcoin, and that year it went up to 20K. So it had a big, big increase. It wasn't a 10K increase, but it had a really, really nice increase. So that's kind of where we are in the cycle right now. Not quite to that point. Like I said, I think potentially we could have another leg down, because if you look at the fear and greed index here, it's one of the things I definitely want you guys to follow, the fear and greed index. So we went from 27 a month ago. The fear was high, but not crazy. We went down to a low of 11 last week, believe it or not. It was 11 around middle of last week. Might have been Thursday, Friday. And then we shot up to 17 yesterday. And today we're right back to 13. So a lot of different things going on in the markets to make us drop back to 13. But the stock market went up. So it was kind of interesting at this drop today. And I think a part of it is because Bitcoin had just taken up and gone up like $4,000 over a few days. And then people are thinking, all right, a lot of people are taking profits and selling it at this point. So that's probably why the fear and greed dropped a little bit. But this is something to keep an eye on, because 11 is extraordinarily low, which was what we had. And we're at 13. So we're still really, really, really low. As this increases and gets from extreme fear to greed, that's when you want to be more into the altcoins, when you get to this higher level of greed, and more here, right? I'd say more from the middle to the 3/4 point here. Once you get to here, you better be a lot more in altcoins and less in Bitcoin, because the altcoins are going to completely outperform Bitcoin during this time. Bitcoin dominance will really drop. And people will be into, whether it's Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, all these other ones. They're going to be in everything. Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, they're all going to be going. When you see all these crazy meme coins like Doge, like Shiba Inu really taking off, that's when you know, all right, let's settle down. Let's sell some of this stuff. Maybe take, a lot of people talk about taking 25% off. I'm thinking, for me personally, if we get a big increase in the altcoins later this year or early in 2023, I might sell 50 to 75% of my altcoin portfolio and move it into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to act more and more like a stable coin at that point. Maybe a percentage into Bitcoin, a percentage in Ethereum, and a percentage, another big percentage into my favorite ones, which I think will do really well in a bear market, like Theta, like Cardano, like Persistence, like Polkadot. I think those four particularly, and maybe even Aave, which is a DeFi play, decentralized finance, as well as Near, which is another decentralized finance play. I think these could do extremely well. So in a down market or in a sideways trading market, you want to be in the best of the best, right? You want to be in the top coins. And I would say you probably want to be in the top 20 for sure, more in the top 20, but even more so maybe in the top 5 to 10. My top 5, as you guys know, you have Theta Fuel, Persistence, Cardano, Polkadot, and I'm pretty sure, do you guys have my top list, the list of the top cryptos? And did you get that from me? I can't remember whether I gave that to you or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we got the top 10. You
Right.
mentioned there was a
I
top
would give you
20
the top 20.
somewhere,
No,
but
it
we
was-
didn't
All right.
get the top 20.
No,
I'm not only going to give you the top 20. I'm going to give you, it's like 550 or 600 cryptos that I've rated and color code rated. So I'm going to give you the top performers, top list, and ones to avoid. Like the ones that are in color red will be ones to avoid. Yellow could be okay. Green is solid. The blue ones are good ones. Blue ones are good ones to go with. So I'll send you that list. That one is an Excel spreadsheet, and that one changes, right? And I'm thankful I have that list and that list together, because I did not have Luna in any of my top holdings. I didn't have Luna at all, guys. I did not own one. I thought about buying it so many times. Something in my gut told me not to do it. I don't know what it was. Just whatever reason. I think it's that because it was an algorithm, and I just don't trust an algorithm. So I hope none of you guys had much Luna or any Luna. I do know a friend of mine who got into the stablecoin Terra because you could stake it and earn 20%, which I totally get. And I talked to him about that one, that it could be a good one to stake. I don't know if he lost or what happened. I got to reach out to him. But I think Do Kwon, who was the founder of Luna, kind of learned his lesson on this one. He got himself in all this trouble. He shot his mouth off, was bragging, was saying, I dare anybody to try to crash this algorithm. And Wall Street took him to his dare and crashed him right to the ground and burnt in ashes, lost 80,000 Bitcoin too in the whole process. So what they've done now, this guy's really sharp. He's had other crypto projects in the past. He's still a young guy, but I think hopefully he's learned his lesson a bit. So what they have now, instead of your regular old Luna, which I bought a bunch of Luna Classic super cheap, which is 0.00010 right now. So it's really cheap. And then they created, so that's Terra Classic, which is Luna's their original blockchain. And then they have the new blockchain they started, which is Terra Luna 2, which is $7.12. I'm not ready to jump into that one yet. I want to find out what he's going to do. If he's thinking of doing anything algorithmically based again, I'm not going to be in. And I wouldn't recommend you guys to be anything like that either. I only want you guys into the best of the best, which is why I want you into, Theta, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, Polkadot, Ethereum and Bitcoin are good ones, obviously, right now. Those are the ones I want you to be in. More Litecoin is another good one. So my top 10 for sure, and my top 20. Don't go too much out of the top 20 unless you just want to do a small gamble here and there that you feel good about a particular coin, or you read something about it, it piqued your interest, you like it. Or, for instance, in the top 10 to 20, so when you go from 10 to 20, there's a lot of metaverse plays. And as you guys know, the metaverse has become bigger and bigger and bigger. And those metaverse coins and gaming tokens were crushed along with everything else, maybe even more so. So you can get into some of those tokens so cheap right now, whether it's Decentraland, which is Mana, M-A-N-A, Sandbox, Gala. And man, do I love Gala. And I've talked about this before in some other ones. The reason I like Gala so much is they brought over a lot of developers from Epic Games, and Epic Games is a really popular developer. Some of the developers from Epic Games, because Epic made great games for the Microsoft, or what do you call it? I don't even know what my kids play. They got the PlayStation, the Xbox, and a few of the others that are out there. They had made a tremendous amount of games, and their graphics are great. So that's part of the reason I like it. Sandbox is popular with people who like the one where you're building the game that you build. I forget what it's called. My kids used to play it all the time. You guys know probably what it is. But it looks like it's just pixel. It's all pixelated, and the graphics aren't great. But thank you, Minecraft, right? And Minecraft's great. That's right. Your son does a lot with that, and it's creative. One of the things I like about it is that it's like Lego with video games. And I love Legos growing up, right? And that's kind of what they did with Minecraft, was pixelate everything kind of like a Lego. And your building and everything becomes like that, more or less. So with my kids, some millennials, a lot of millennials actually, believe it or not, had played Minecraft, and younger kids still, like Wee's son, plays that. So that Sandbox is going to be popular because Snoop Dogg's in it, right? You have some star power in the Sandbox. So that metaverse will be fairly popular. And there's been a ton of investment from whether it's Nike, Adidas, Coke, Wendy's, and a bunch of other different retailers in there, like Gucci is in Sandbox. And I'm trying to remember some of the other big players. Rolex is in Sandbox. and also the Decentraland. They're kind of playing a lot of them back and forth, right? But right now you can get into Gala for about 7 cents. And I was buying Gala at 20, 22, 28 cents. And I just held it because I believe in it long term, and I'll just dollar cost average buy more. Really like that one a lot. Star Atlas, another one. It's probably 2 cents right now, 1, 2, 3 cents, somewhere in that range. Very, very inexpensive one that, again, I like a lot. It has huge potential in the metaverse. So there was a great article that NASDAQ had brought out about some of their top metaverse plays, which I'm going to have to share with you, which leads me to my next topic here real quick. What I'm going to do, so you don't have to take so many notes all the time, I'm going to make a weekly newsletter now. And in a weekly newsletter that I'm going to do, it's going to bring a lot of these articles like that NASDAQ wrote about the top metaverse plays. I'm just going to kind of link them in there for you guys so you can pull them out and read them yourselves. I'm going to give you my own analysis of stuff. And this is not going to be a real long newsletter, but I want to give you the breakdown, kind of what's going in the market, what to look at, what the sentiment is like. And that way you guys will have a better feel and understanding of what's going on. And then you'll have it and you can save them, whatever. I'm going to send an email. My wife doesn't mind putting these newsletters together. So I'm going to be the one giving her the content. She's going to put them together, gives her something else to do too, besides take care of the kids, which she gets tired of, as you can understand. So yeah, I want to get you guys a newsletter, which is going to give a lot of this info. It's also going to, and the new one coming up, it's going to talk about persistence, and Tushar Agarwal, who you guys know is one of my favorite CEOs. There's a great article that just came out. I didn't have time to bring that one up today. And it's just him talking about what they're doing behind the scenes and how they're building things out. And this guy is egoless. I love these egoless CEOs out there who put a lot on their team and depend on their team a lot. And you got that with Theta, you got that with persistence, you got that. Charles Hoskinson has an ego, but man, does he have huge, great developers behind him, and he relies on them hugely. Same with the Polkadot CEO, Michael, I can't remember his last name, but they're all really good. And that's what you're going to end up seeing from me. A lot of the people and a lot of the ones I believe in are people that I believe in, because ultimately, what do you believe in when you're believing in an organization, a company? You're believing the people behind it, right? Why is Amazon so good? Because Jeff Bezos does a great job with that company, right? He brands it well. He stays out of politics as much as he can, keeps himself out of the limelight as much as he can, and just tries to run a great company. And those are what you're looking for in a crypto space too. You're looking for the people who are the most egoless people out there, the ones who want to build something and want to change something and do something for the better. So that's what you're going to see there. That's what you're going to see in this newsletter as well. So I rambled on for a really long time, and I want you guys to be able to ask me questions and do stuff. So fire away.
Paul, this is Janice. I just got to notice that from Coinbase that Sandbox is now on Coinbase. Is there some other significance of that?
No, Coinbase is a pain in the butt. They don't have a lot of the tokens I really, really want,
right?
Which drives me crazy. Which, by the way, Binance US just added Theta and Theta Fuel about 3 weeks ago. I think I sent out an email about that maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they have Theta and Theta Fuel on that.
Right.
They don't have persistence yet, but they have Sandbox, I believe, on Binance.us. I'm 90% certain. Yeah, they do, because I bought it on that. Bitmart also has that. Bitmart has a ton. It's just one of those smaller, different exchanges that just has a lot of low cap tokens on it. Bitmart is, and again, supports US users. So it's another good one to use. Like we were talking about before, Edna, it's a little more like KuCoin, so it's a little clunkier to purchase, whereas Coinbase is really easy. You know, you pick that token and you just hit the buy button and you're getting it. Where when you're on KuCoin, or whether you're on Bitmart, or whether you're on, not Binance US is easy, but the regular Binance and some of these other ones like Mandela Exchange, they're meant for traders, right? So they're meant to set up buy orders, sell orders, stop orders. So there's a lot more to it, and they're more complicated. So I'm going to have to create videos for you guys for each of those, of the ones I recommend. for you guys to use. I don't want you to get, a lot of you have VPNs, which is great. So I'm going to give you the best ones that I like and use VPNs for, where you can get persistence and where you can get theta and theta fuel. Luckily, you can get on US grade exchanges right now. So that helps. But there's a few of them that I'd like you to get potentially that are pretty good ones, or at least the ones that not giving you financial advice or anything, but ones that I have and what I like, and hopefully you guys might like as well. There's certain exchanges you have to get them on temporarily before they go on to Coinbase. Coinbase is just a bugger.
Paul, as I mentioned to you, I'm gonna put some things on Caleb and Brown. And
Yes.
that's where I was gonna put XRP and Theta Fuel, those that are hard to get.
Yes.
Ethereum with them. My question is that can you request that they stake coins with Caleb and Brown, or they?
They don't. No,
Okay,
no, they don't stake coins. But if you want to, they'll send it to your wallet where you can stake it, say Exodus wallet or the Atomic wallet. They could send it there for you, and then you could stake them on those platforms.
Okay.
So they'll send it wherever you want to. And there's no charge for them to send it. They only charge you on the purchase or the sell orders. So you're not getting hit on a send.
Yeah,
It'll
so
cost
I
whatever
have-
gas fees it cost.
So I have the Atomic wallet, and so I just asked them to send it there, and then
Yes.
I'll take it from there.
So here's the process with Caleb and Brown when they do that. And I'm so happy they do it too, by the way. They will send a small test amount to your wallet. You'll confirm, yes, I received it, and then they'll send the rest. And it's all for your protection, right? And then when you send to them, they'll give you a wallet address. They want you to send a very small amount to them too, just to test, confirm. They'll let you know they got it, and then you send the rest. Do this with every single, no matter what wallet, no matter what you're sending, unless it's a small amount that you're sending, do this, just make this a common practice. Do that test amount just to make sure you got the address right, because look, this is complex. It's a pain in the butt. You want to make sure you check and double check everything. The reason, knock wood, and eventually I'll screw up at some point, but luckily I have never lost anybody. I know a ton of people who have lost because they didn't double check and they sent everything all in one shot. I had one time where it took, when I was on a swap, I can't remember the swap it was like a pancake swap type, Simple Swap. That's what it was, Simple Swap IO. And it took till overnight for me to get that crypto. I was turning a bunch of Bitcoin into Theta and Theta Fuel. And I did not sleep well that night. Even though I did this test with a small amount and went through. The big amount took a while. And I didn't realize that at the time, but because it's a big amount, they've got to wait till they fill everything, right? So your order, when you're doing a pretty big one with them, is going to take a long time, and then it'll eventually go over. But rest assured, if your test amount went, you repeated everything the same way, your big amount's going to go as well. You'll be good. And if not, there's a guy, Pappy D's, that I'll make sure his contact is in each newsletter too. Charges like $150 a session. This guy's a magician at being able to get money back for people. He's able to figure it out where it is, what happened, just in a simple Zoom consultant call with you. He's able to figure out kind of where it happened, what went wrong, and then he'll go back and help you fix it and get the money back. He's helped a lot of people that I know. So he's a guy I'll recommend for sure. And there's a few guys like him out there.
When we had that screen up again where it showed the staking, I looked for that the other day. I couldn't find it. What screen? How do I get there?
Stakingrewards.com. Let me do this. Let's see. I'll just pull it up right now for you guys.
Okay.
There it is. So this is a great one. And again, in a trading sideways market, it's great to just stake so that way you earn something, whether the market's going up or down. And what Staking Rewards will do is tell you, right, Polkadot. So Polkadot on, I want to say, is it KuCoin or Voyager? I think it might be Voyager, pays 13.95% staking rewards. So that's one to shift over and stake. As a matter of fact, that's on my to-do list for next week. I got to shift over my Polkadot to, I'm pretty sure it's Voyager. I'll have to double check that for you guys and confirm. But around 14%, pretty good.
the Voyager token is up now.
Mhm.
Is it down? Well, it was a couple days ago, so we don't know, but it was up 5.69%.
That's solid for one of
Yeah,
their,
yeah.
that's their, yeah, that's their native tokens.
Yeah,
That means
because
that's
I was
something
gonna
good for
ask you
them.
about that. Yeah, and then you just
Mhm.
talked about it. So yeah, because I wrote it down and have it here. It was up 5.69%. Now I'm not sure. No, that's not how much it was up. That's how much it cost a couple of
Oh,
days
okay.
ago.
Okay.
But it was
Okay.
up. But it was up too. And I
It's
can't
interesting
remember.
because,
Yeah.
and this market, not a lot has been up, right? So that's pretty telling
Yes.
for it there. That's something
Yeah, that's what
positive. for it.
I was saying, that's very strange because a lot of other things
Yeah.
that I've been watching and stuff is down.
Yes.
But-
I know.
but-
That's one of the things, like I try not to look at my portfolio every day, but I do, of course. You know, you just have to do it.
Try not to torture yourself, right?
Yes, totally, which is fine. Luckily, I've been in this a long time, so I'm still up in a long-term plenty, but it
Yeah.
still hurts. I'm like, if I
that-
would have sold this, and this, I can't look at it like that because my view is 4 to 5 years out. That's always my view. And whenever I buy anything, it's a long-term view, unless I'm doing Shiba Inu, where I'm trying to do a short-term play and try to make some money on it, or Doge or one of these. I'm going to be into it longer term. You know, Polkadot, like you see here.
Right.
Solana had issues. Let's go over that real
Well,
quick. So
Yeah,
did you
but
see what happened to Solana this
but
week?
Solana was up. It was only up like 0.36%, but it was up.
Mhm.
And the other thing that kind of shocked me was Terra Classic.
Yes,
It was up 40.07%.
huge, because that just came kind of back
That is
on.
huge.
What happened? So what happened there, and this is typical. So you'll see, and this is Coinbase used to have a big effect whenever a token was listed on Coinbase. Let's go back to 2018, 2019, 2020, even 2021. Whenever a new token went on there, had a Coinbase bump because your US is the biggest market out there.
Right.
So a lot of people will be buying it on Coinbase. So what's happened is the Coinbase effect is become like a drug effect bell curve. You know how your first initial one, it's up high and then it's lower and lower and lower. So that's what's happening to Coinbase right now. So you're not getting that big effect. But however, with what happened with Luna Classic, that was just relisted. And there's people like me who, of course, jumped on there, which is part of the reason it shot up like that, because I bought in and bought something. Like, it's gambling money, right? I'm gonna throw a little
Right.
bit at it. If it goes up, great. It's $300. If I lose it, I was going to Vegas for the night. If not, it's good. But I haven't gone into Luna 2 yet. But yeah, Luna Classic, I saw got a nice bump. I should probably sell while I'm ahead, but I won't learn. I'll keep it and I'll just hold it.
That was it. And then I also want to ask you, like Theta Network, is that part of the whole Theta group?
It is Theta Network. If you follow them on Twitter, and they give a lot of good news, what's going on. Let's see if I can pull that one up here. There's thetatoken.org, and then Theta
Because they
Net.
were up too when all the stuff was down. They were up 2% when everything was
Yes.
down.
Yep, and that's not the right one here. Let's find out what it is. But yeah, Theta has gone up and down. It's been bouncing back and forth. I got so much of it. I should play a little bit more with day trading on it, but I just don't have the guts to do it. So there's a lot going on with Theta Network, and there's a lot going on with Theta that in a bull market, this thing would be going through the roof. Oh, here it is. I just passed it. That's a Theta token right here. If you go on to their Twitter, which I follow them, make sure you follow them. Mitch Liu and others give some pretty good information out there with what they're doing. But then Mainnet 4.0 is coming out, and that's kind of what's bumping things up with Theta.
Mhm.
And then secondarily, T-Drop, which is their token for their NFT exchange. And that's one I just got because I'm staking Theta and Theta Fuel. So they give you drops of it. You'll get 6 airdrops of it. I've gotten
Okay.
2 out of the 6 airdrops of it. And then I just stake it, and I earn more for it. So this is their NFT exchange, which was ranked number 9th. It might have moved up to 8th now. They're moving up and gaining more and more popularity on the NFT side. The NFTs are getting slammed right now, even more than the regular cryptos are, which happens when you start to get towards a recession, which looks like we could be headed towards a recession. NFTs will be hit a little bit more than your typical cryptos will be. But as you gain more and more use case of, let's say, something like Bitcoin Cash, where Bitcoin Cash can be used as a currency because it's really, really inexpensive, or even Bitcoin now that on the Lightning Network is really inexpensive too. So those things will make it become a little bit more mainstream and more used and maybe less sold, and hopefully keep the price a little bit more stable on those two. We'll see. Bitcoin Cash is another one I'm big time bullish on, right? Because Bitcoin Cash has the exact same fundamentals as Bitcoin, that there's only 21 million ever to be mined. It just has a much quicker blockchain. That's the biggest thing. It was meant to be a transactional based thing with a limited amount out there. So that's why I'm very bullish on, if you're gonna, for me, as I'm gaining more Bitcoin Cash, I'm gaining more Theta, I'm gaining more Persistence, Polkadot, and Cardano. Those are the ones I'm really throwing the majority in. And then I'm doing dribs and drabs of others. I actually just bought some Bitcoin a couple weeks ago. So I do the Bitcoin as well. But when it takes that dip down like 25, 26 like it did, buy some, right, of that as well. It's just that when you look at it, if Bitcoin goes up 4 times, it's only going to be worth $120,000, right? But if that's crazy amount when you think about it.
Right.
But that's only 4 times it goes up to $120,000. But Cardano might go up 10, 20 times because it's only at 58 cents right now. That will eclipse. So it's, where do you put your money for the best return? It's into these ones that aren't fully developed out yet, haven't had that big run up yet. And Cardano has been as high as $3 over, I think, last May. So you can see it getting back there probably in the next year or two, maybe shorter, maybe later. But at 58 cents, I really like it. As I started buying Cardano around 8 cents and then 16 cents and then all the way up to $1. So I'm still way ahead on Cardano, but I bought some over $1 and $1.20. I bought some, and it's only 58 cents. So I've lost of that I bought. I've lost 50% plus my portfolio of those. But I'm still so far up because most of it I bought luckily cheap. T-drop, it's like 0.007, 0.008 cents right now. This is one that's not easy to get. So what you have to do is, more or less what you have to do is you have to buy Theta Fuel, send Theta Fuel to thetaswap.io, which I'll pull up here. There it is. So and here what you'll end up doing is turning that into the T-drop token. I think it's this one you can do it. Or is this one just, let's see what it does. This one may not allow you to do anything other than T-bill. Let's see. Select the token. T-bill, no, it does let you do T-drop, right? So you could turn your Theta Fuel into T-bill, which is their staking stable coin. It's not really a regular stable coin, but it's a more stable type of a stable coin. And then you have T-drop right here. So you can turn your Theta Fuel into T-drop here. It's going to be your best way and easiest way to do it. Because on most US exchanges, you're not going to be able to buy it.
Can Caleb and Brown buy it?
Yeah, yes, they can.
Okay, because I only want to send them, like, Ethereum, the hard ones, XRP, this kind, the hard one. Yeah,
You
and I almost was gonna do that last week, but then I go, oh wait, what's happening? This stuff. So
Wait till you get big bounces down. Actually, it's not a bad idea to just send money that you plan on buying cryptos with right now.
Okay.
And then put buy orders in. So let's say Theta is $1.30 right now. Maybe you think Theta is going down to $1.10. Put buy orders in really low, and if it goes through, you're happy, right? If they come out, you're really happy.
So I can do that with them too. Yeah,
you can do that with them. You can do that. Well, you can set buy orders and sell orders with them, which is the best because they're over the counter. Even though they charge more, it's not going to crash through your price as it can with these exchanges.
Right.
So
right.
persistence, buyer persistence there too, even though it
Yeah,
costs you more.
persistence and theta and.
Theta and theta fuel.
Theta
Yep.
fuel, is it XRP and, what's the
XRP, yes, XRP is the other one.
XRP? And it's another one too, that I was gonna do it, and so I would probably put T drop in that too, so, you know,
Yep, put P drop in with that there, because it'll be easier to get through them.
yeah, yeah.
And
I'm not
what
sending
is-
them a ton of money, I'm just sending them some money though.
yeah, send them some.
Yeah, yeah. And
I think
then
they want
it's
2,000
at
minimum.
least 2,000, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
2,000 a cash minimum. However, if you send them cryptos, you don't have to send a $2,000 minimum. You could send them $500 worth of cryptos
Oh,
and tell them
really?
you want to convert. So you can do that. It's just when you send cash wire and they look at it as from a business standpoint, what does it cost for them to get international wires? Probably $65, right? Then
Right.
once you spend at least 2,000 to come over for that to make sense for them to do that, not for $100 here or 200 or $500. So
Well,
I think
don't
that's
mind-
why they have it.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I'll send them the $2,000, you know, I don't mind it
Mm-hmm.
or more, you know, well, I may send the $2,000, just the $2,000 right now.
Initially. Yep.
Yeah. And
Do
then,
that initially.
yeah, and then, you know, but I didn't know I could put in on orders, but if I could put in orders, then I will just go ahead and send them the $2,000 and then have them, you know, just order and stuff, because I'm following a few of them and stuff. And was a little surprised about some of them, you know, like I said, you know, Solano, even though it was up less than, it was like 0.36%, but it just that it was up, period.
Mhm.
When all
Yep.
the time I was looking, almost everything else was down. You know,
Yep. And it dropped a little because of that whole 4.5 hour outage. So it dropped a little bit today here.
yeah.
And you have a question. Go ahead, fire away.
Yes, I was looking at the Atlas coin. I'm in
Star Atlas, yes.
yeah, Star Atlas in CoinGecko. And there's
Mhm.
two. There's just a regular Star Atlas, and then there's the Star Atlas wormhole. What's the
haven't done that
difference
one.
between those two?
Great question. Let me do some research. So you got Star Atlas.
Yeah,
And
and
Star
I'm
Atlas
seeing
wormhole,
other coins
okay.
in there also that have that wormhole, so I'm not sure what that is.
That's interesting. That was on CoinGecko, you said, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. I'm going to look into that for you, do some
Mhm.
research. Put your name right here and then get back to you. All right. That's interesting. So the wormhole, I don't know anything about that. I haven't looked into anything with that. I just know Star Atlas.
Mhm.
And then there's like weird ones like ApeCoin right here, 36. ApeCoin, I've been thinking if it's $5 or $6, I might buy, but for some reason I haven't bought it. That's the NFT, right? That's the one that created the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club. Let's go down and see where Star Atlas is right now. I know it's fairly far down here in market cap, just like all of them are. Engine Coin, by the way, Engine Coin, 64, under 65 cents now, will be big in the metaverse and the play to earn. So the people that are into the metaverse play to earn, they're two big plays right now. The two biggest plays that they talk about is Theta and Engine. Theta and Engine token. So those are big ones. And these aren't me, these are other people talking. And of course, here's Gala right here, super cheap. So Star Atlas is gonna be well down if it's probably on the next page here. Oh goodness, still haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'll just do a search for it. It might just be under Atlas. There it is. See, it's 0.008. So it's under a penny right now. So to me, that's a total bargain. It's been pretty high. It's been around what, 9 cents, close to 9 cents last June. So it took a big jump. You'll notice this June, July 21st, Bitcoin hit its low in 2021. So you'll notice some of these things take a big jump, which is kind of strange. The metaverse stuff just went at a different time. than the regular old tokens did. And they kind of went into the fall last year too, which most of the other cryptos did too. In November, they started to drop a little bit. That's when we noticed, the nice little crash here. We've been down since November, frankly, going up a little bit. We went up when we had our live event. And then after that, about 3-4 weeks later, we started to hit another crash again when the NASDAQ started tanking. Because remember this, the cryptos are technologies, so they're 90% correlated to the NASDAQ. So as the NASDAQ goes, usually cryptos go. However, the last week, the NASDAQ has kind of rebounded and they have not. The cryptos have not rebounded to the same level. What we got here, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? So Bitcoin dominance is going up. And what this tells you is the altcoins are going down. The Bitcoin dominance is increasing. As this drops, obviously the altcoins are then going up. So another good chart to follow is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I was actually looking for another chart when that popped up, but yeah, and here's the RSI, relative strength index, and you can see it's down right now. It's down into, when you see it get into the reds, that's usually a telling good time that it's a good time to buy. It means it's a good time to buy not just Bitcoin, but the altcoins as well. So that's something to keep in mind there. Let's go to CoinDesk. So this is something I saw today. I never heard of this before, but I didn't even know Elon Musk had a brother, Kimball Musk. He's starting the first ever green nonprofit DAO. I wouldn't put too much into it. I don't know anything about this guy. Never heard of him before, but he's getting a nice center page here. And maybe they want him to do well. Who knows? CoinDesk is one of those ones I recommend you guys to just kind of take a look at and see everything goes. And here's the Terra token, like you were talking about, Janice going up here.
Yeah.
The Terra token 40% after the listing on Binance. And Binance, gave it that bump.
Is that what it is? I kept saying
That's what it was.
Because I was shocked and I just going, what is this?
Yep.
So I had it on my list to ask you.
So that was it. The Binance bumped it. Also, apps like Uphold.com, that one also listed it both. So it got bumped from multiple apps. And Cardano, I told you earlier with Cardano, and that was it's a hard fork going on, the Vassal hard fork. That's kind of what spiked Cardano.
Yeah. But
so that's what you'll usually
see. Is that, like Cardano and Solano, that was up a little, they were up a little, they were up, but not down. But when this, when the Terra Classic showed up at 40%, I'm like, what?
That's huge, right?
Yeah.
That is huge.
I'm like, what's going on? Threw me for a loop there. Didn't expect that.
No, when you had that nice little bump. Then you go in. So you go into, I love what CoinGecko does when you have the 1 hour, the 24 hour, and the 7-day. You can kind of look at what's going on with these different cryptos.
Right.
And obviously everything in the last hour is bumped up a little bit since it was a down day, which kind of makes sense. Lower trading activity during this time of the evening here. So you kind of expect that. But if you look at it over the past week, like Solana got hammered, 14.5% down.
Right.
The Binance blockchain coin, 6.5% down. Ethereum down solidly. Bitcoin's actually up a little on a week.
I was going to say Bitcoin was up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually up a little.
At
So
the
it's
same
interesting
time, I was
seeing
looking
what's
at this
going on.
other stuff. It was up, and I was like, I looked at that twice, and I said, "They sure."
And you look at everything else, it's still getting hit pretty good. The FTX stuff. I think FTX, the exchange, by the way, which we can use in the US here, it actually just overtook Coinbase in market cap. Very interesting that I read that today.
Oh,
that just overtook it. So that's another exchange. I don't really use it. I think I might have done 1 or 2 trades on it ever.
Right.
But it's growing in popularity. Definitely growing in popularity. Bitcoin Cash, I just like anything under 200. I'm loving it. I'm usually buying it. Chainlink, this has still been a bargain for a while. This was $35 last, I think it was last fall.
Wow.
$35. So it's down hugely. So But that's an oracle that's very important for a lot of different blockchains out there, including Ethereum. It's hugely used for a lot of different blockchains. I think it's on seven different major blockchains utilize Chainlink. So
Wow.
without Chainlink, they can't operate fully. So that tells you something. That's like, that means that's maybe potentially underpriced. Long term it is,
Yeah.
but it's one of those I really do like. VeChain, solid ones. You guys know I like that one. Hedera is a great one. That's 9 cents. Theta Fuel obviously is solid, but Tezos is one of those unheard of one. It's been around since 2015, I want to say, somewhere in there. It's been around for a long time. Stake it, you learn around 6 or 7% staking it. I've been staking this for years, believe it or not. But it's cheaper than my original entry point right now. Tezos is, that means I'm down. Look how cheap Sandbox is, $1.35.
Yeah.
Decentraland $1. They were under $1. This was under $1 last week or 2 weeks ago.
Which one was that? It's under?
Decentraland, Mana,
Oh, really?
M-A-N-A.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then Aave, by the way, Aave is the #1 DeFi exchange, decentralized financial blockchain here. So really good one. Really like this one long term a lot. And Theta is sitting there at 52, $1.22.
Mm,
Been as high as $16.
yeah.
It'll go back up. That's a long-term one for me. I'm down on it for now, but it'll eventually go back up.
Here's your Terra Luna.
Did we lose?
Did we lose Paul?
Yeah, we lost him.
Oh, come back.
No, we lost him.
We lost him altogether.
Yeah, stop recording too.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I don't see the record.
Maybe he had some network trouble. When I
There we go.
when I first got on, I had a problem with my audio, you know. So it's just crazy out, and it's storming outside my house right now, so that's probably why. But Paul, we lost you. Oh, you
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's still recording because I see the little red
Is it?
button, but I think we lost him. He may need to
Yeah, I
get
think
back on.
his camera we lost his
Yeah.
camera because he's
Yeah.
still on.
Yeah, because I saw him moving the
Yeah, he was moving the screen.
yeah. But we can't see or hear him.
No,
Oh, by the way, I just bought
he is.
There we
some.
go.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we lost you. Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you now.
You know what
Um,
happened? I have the microphone attached to my camera and the camera battery died. So that's running both right now. So
Oh,
that's why you
yeah.
lost audio and video. Sorry
Right.
about that. Where was I?
We're going through the list.
Going through the
Oh,
list.
yeah, we were going through that list.
Yeah.
We're going through that list, and there's actually something else I actually wanted to go over with you guys real quick too.
Okay.
And I'll go over this, and this will be in the newsletter. The Brave, you guys know the Brave browser. I think I told you about that in the masterclass, the Brave browser. So they actually teamed up with Solana. And they actually, by the way, they're also like Google. They are a search engine as well, which I didn't know. I never use them as a search engine, but they are a browser, which I utilize them as a browser. But they're getting involved heavily with Solana on Web3. So that obviously with Solana, they're going to have lower transaction costs, which is going to be good. But their key is with them, they want to do a lot of the decentralized apps. So a lot of the decentralized finance, which as opposed with Ethereum, which has the higher gas fees, it's going to be cheaper to do it through them. They've already created a Brave wallet, which is a crypto wallet. I don't have that, haven't tested yet, haven't tried it. but it's something that may take off here. It's something to keep your eyes on, and something I'm going to keep my eye on. Very, very interesting. And then I wanted to show you guys, let's see where it is here. See if I still have it.
By the way, I was
Yeah.
able to buy Sandbox on Coinbase. I know
Did you
that
find
was-
it?
Yeah.
It's not that. So Binance.us, you'll have to get it on Binance.us. And that is easy to use, just like Coinbase.
Yeah, they have it on Coinbase though.
Oh, they do have it on Coinbase now?
Mhm.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's what I was
Very good.
telling you, Paul, that it's just, I got to notice that that means something with something else going on, because it
Awesome.
just sent out that they have Sandbox on Coinbase.
Love it. Love it. So that's newer. That's very good. I'm glad
Yeah,
they got that.
That's in the last few days. That's
Very good. Yeah. So I didn't even see that notification. I'm trying to see if I can see it. Somewhere I had an article, I thought I did, on what was going on. So I'll give you a long and short of it. It's with US and Congress and coming up with crypto regulations, right? Because crypto regulations, obviously, as soon as they have some kind of announced regulations, that's going to allow a lot more big hedge fund money and a lot of money to come into the crypto, which will make it take off. No idea the time frame, but Cynthia Lummis, she's a Wyoming senator, is working with the senator in Christine Hildebrand in New York,
yeah.
and they're creating legislation. So you got a Republican and a Democrat working together, and there's been more and more Democrats working with Republicans on creating some kind of regulation on it. So if you guys start seeing regulation come into play, what you'll notice is initially there, I think, in my opinion, that you might have a dive down because people like me don't like regulation. And then you'll have a huge, huge upshoot, because what will happen is institutional money now will come into the market
Right.
because they know where they stand. They know where they just want to know what the playing field is going to be. So that, I think that's what will end up happening. And if you do see that big run up, let it run up for a little bit, and then we'll talk, because hopefully we'll still be having these
Right.
meetings here. And I'll say, guys, it might be time to think about selling. I'm selling some of mine right now, so it might be time to think about selling some of yours. So remember that. Think about that. Here was the Solana price diving after the 4.5 hour outage. And that just happened on June 1st, yesterday. So little minor thing. They've had several outages, but they restart it and everything goes good after that. But if you want to be one of the main players out there, one of the main smart contract platforms, you can't have outages like this. So they got to fix this. So Solana's definitely got to fix it. Something they're going to have to hopefully have to work on in a very near future. They're going to lose to Cardano, they're going to lose to Polkadot, and they'll lose to Ethereum, even with the higher gas fees, because people maybe would rather pay higher gas fees and know that the network's going to work than it
Right.
crashing on them, right? I mean, it's
Right.
something to be said there. We'll see. I do like Solana and I do own it. And I'm still bullish on it, especially at the price it's at. Luckily for me, I bought it all at $22, so I'm still solid on it, but it could continue. If it has another outage, it'll crash below $22. Just hope they don't, knock wood. Let's hope they don't go through that next outage anytime soon. Zilliqa, another good one. All right, Zilliqa, keep your eye on this one, number 77, 5 cents. They had gone up to 26 cents about beginning of April, when they had launched their metaverse. They may be, and rumor has it, it's been rumored for a couple months now, that they're the ones partnering up with Meta, Facebook, for the metaverse. You see, because Facebook has obviously a bad brand name out there with millennials, with younger generation. Facebook is really largely used by our age, people our age, and my parents, my grandparents, our grandparents, because they understand how to use it. But for the millennials and stuff, they don't really like it. The Gen Z, Gen Y, they don't like it either, right? They don't believe it. They don't trust in it. So Meta is going to have to hide under something else. And that's their whole thing. They tried to come out with their own token. And of course, it blew up in their face. It was 2 years ago. So whatever Zuckerberg does is going to turn to kind of crap right now. So that's why he's going to have to hide. And it may be that they've already partnered with them right now, and nobody's announced anything or done anything, right? Because they don't want that out there. They want to build a brand before they announce it. Keep that in mind. It could be what's going on. I don't know. But yeah.
Since
Yep.
most of you are in real estate too, you should know
Yep.
that it's just come out that NAR and all of them have done the research, and they're saying that this started before the shortage right now of inventory, and that because of it's going to take 10 years for them to bring the market up to where entry level buyers can buy houses, because there's such a shortage, because it's been going on for like
So
3
long.
years, 3 years or
Yes.
so before now. So you have another decade of the shortage, because all the millennials are now moving out of their parents'
Yes.
house finally.
Yep. Yep. Finally, right?
And you know, and the Gen generation, they're younger buyers. They want to buy and stuff,
Mhm.
and there's just not enough inventory, and because of all of the construction shortages and whatever, it'll take them 10 years to catch up. So,
Yes, and I agree totally with Nara on that one. And there is a quick fix to this though, which they probably won't do because politicians hate us. When I say us, entrepreneurs,
Right.
They don't like us. So
Right.
if they were smart, they would go, all right, anybody making entry level homes, whether it be a 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,500, call 1,200 to 2,500 square foot home, right?
yeah,
For those
under
making anything like that.
1,500 usually.
Right. And you keep your price point under a certain point. If you want to, as a government, make sure you have enough housing, you say, all right, we want those people to build that. We're going to give you a tax moratorium. Like we will give you tax breaks, huge tax breaks to do it. People like us would build it just for
Right.
the tax break. We don't care if we make money on the deal
That's
or not,
right.
right? We would do it for the
For the
tax
tax
break.
break. That's right.
So until these idiot politicians, and they're too stupid to get out of their own way, figure this out,
Right.
we're going to have this. I agree, 10 years, right? It's going to be a long time. And unfortunately, right now, we got the cost to build these houses is ridiculous because of the materials and labor right now with everything, and the fuel, drives everything.
Then on top of the fact that, all the materials and stuff, but again, right now they have a labor shortage. You know, because a contractor is really just the overseer. There's 1,000 subcontractors, and the 1,000 subcontractors are not here anymore.
Right.
So,
Very good point. Which is why you can't find enough labor.
right. There's just not enough labor, and stuff. So, and of course, everything has to be licensed and whatever. And so, there's
Overregulated, right?
1,000 other people that could do it, but they don't have a license, so they can't do it.
We have a perfect storm of a lot of negative things. I was like,
Yes.
overregulated, too big a government, too much taxation, right? If you want to obviously create the right environment here to build these things, we talked about how to do that. It's very simple to do it.
Right.
Very, very simple. But will we do it? I don't know. I don't necessarily have faith in any of these politicians, unfortunately. And there's ways we could do it. And we got these containers, these containers that we can buy. And I want to build container homes because you could do them pretty affordably, building container homes. You could do that as an entry level house, right? That's a whole other thing. So, and then a quick question here. I want to get to her, make sure I answer this question. Where can you buy Zill? So I've bought Zilliqa on Uphold. You can buy it, I believe, on Bitmart. I think, and I'm not 1,000% positive, I think you can buy it on Binance.us. It's not on Coinbase, and I don't know why, but I think you can buy this on Binance.us. But I know you can buy it on the Uphold app, Edna. So you could definitely get that there. Let's see where else you could possibly get it. Bitmart's just, if you're thinking of all these weird, inexpensive ones, Bitmart's got almost all of them, which is strange. The problem is we can't fund Bitmart with our credit card that easy or debit card. You generally have to, the easiest way I usually do Bitmart is I'll buy something on, I'll fund my Coinbase, and I'll turn it in USDC or USDT Tether. Usually I do USDC, and I'll send that to Bitmart, and then I can buy on Bitmart. But again, it's clunky. It's not easy to use like Coinbase is. So I think the easiest is going to be using Binance.us on that. Let me go through. Let me pull it up on my phone real quick here and just see if Binance does have that. Nick was saying you can also stack concrete vaults to create housing. It's true. It's true. They did it at one of the Philadelphia colleges, Temple. I used to live, that was my old stomping grounds. I went to Drexel, which is not far from there. Let's see if they have Zilliqa here. They do. So Binance.us, Edna, I'll send you a link for Binance. So you can, and it's super easy like Coinbase, right? I love Binance US because it's very simple like Coinbase to buy and sell. Really, really very user-friendly on the app, on the phone, or on your computer. So links to everybody for Binance.us, among other things. I'm just going to send you links for that and also to iTrust Capital. So that way, whoever wants to do an IRA can get $200 worth of Bitcoin. When I signed up for it, I got $100. I'm still super happy with $100, but 200 is a nice little bonus. All right, let's see. What else did I want to hit here? Brave browser. Oh, and they aren't doing so. Brave browser, one other thing. They have no partnerships with any other tech companies. They do that on purpose because they don't want them selling your information. They want to keep everything as private as possible, which is why they're trying to build out their platform as big as possible so they can maintain control and keep it private and have all their decentralized apps on it. Because they know if they bring Google on there, Yahoo, or any of these other ones out there, everything's going to be sold. It's all going to go bad, right? It's all going to get sold.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Let's see what else I got up here. This is, by the way, Anthony Pompliano is great. You guys should follow him on YouTube. I want to play this because this is a really short 3-minute clip. Do you guys mind if I play this? He gets into, talks about Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon's issuing a warning to us. Things are about to get really, really nasty in our economy. And I usually listen to Jamie Dimon, even though he could be a little bit crazy, but I want to play this. Let me know if you guys can hear this or not.
It's conference on Wednesday, and he had some choice words for.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm gonna continue playing. This is really, really good.
Investors in the audience. He thinks that there's a financial storm coming. And I think Jamie Dimon's talking about some stuff that you should be paying attention to. He said that you need to brace yourself for an economic hurricane caused by the Fed and the Ukraine war. Now, of course, this was a very long conversation. So here's a couple of the top quotes that I thought you should pay attention to. The first is he says, I said previously that there's storm clouds, but I'm going to change it. It's a hurricane. While conditions seem fine at the moment, nobody knows if a hurricane is a minor one or Superstorm Sandy. He then went on to say, you better brace yourself. JP Morgan is bracing ourselves, and we're going to be very conservative with our balance sheet. Then next, right now, it's kind of sunny. Things are doing fine. Everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road, and it's coming our way. We've never had quantitative tightening like this. So you're looking at something you could be writing history books on for 50 years. Several aspects of QE backfired, including negative rates, which he thinks was a huge mistake. And then lastly, he stated that wars go bad. They go south in unintended consequences. That the United States and the rest of the global audience is not taking the proper actions to protect Europe from what's going to happen to oil in the short run. Now, of course, Jamie Dimon is highly intelligent. He runs one of the largest banks in the world, and he's got more information and data at his fingertips than almost anyone else that I know. And so naturally, when he says that there's a financial storm coming, you should pay attention. And when he says, don't listen to what we're saying, watch what we're doing. We're going to be conservative with our balance sheet. You should start paying attention. Nobody knows the future. Nobody has a crystal ball. How bad will the recession be? Will we get a recession? Nobody knows. But what we do know is that we've been in a quantitative easing, a loose monetary policy for the last 13 years or so. There was one bout where they tried to do some quantitative tightening, and they basically gave up almost immediately because it didn't work. And so naturally, the big question here is how committed will the Federal Reserve be? As they've talked tough, as they've raised interest rates, and now as they're actually conducting quantitative tightening, asset prices are falling. Stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, everything is down. How bad can it get? No one actually knows. But what I think that most people who understand finance, who understand markets, and who have lived through many market cycles before, there's one thing that they all agree on. You got to make sure that you survive. They shore up their balance sheets, either personally or professionally. They make sure that they have cash, that they can weather the storm. Because one of the big things in finances, if you don't make it to the other side, you don't get to live to play anymore. And so naturally, making sure that you've got a strong balance sheet, one that can survive the economic hurricane, is going to be highly important. Do what you need to do to make sure that you could last 12, 18, 24 months. Nobody knows how long it'll last. Nobody knows how bad it'll get. But one thing is sure, you've got liquidity, you've got a strong balance sheet, you've got a good shot of actually getting to the other side of this. Hey, you, did you like this video?
So Pompa's pretty good. I've been following him for years. A lot of good info he puts out there. And that what Jamie Dimon was getting into, I thought was really telling. And he's kind of, by doing that interview, he's warning the people that run this country too, that they're going the wrong direction. But will they listen? Who knows? I mean, they usually do listen to Jamie Dimon. But we're in a weird stage right now, and I'm seeing it in real estate where 2 months ago in this property I had in Illinois, that if I would list on the market, I would have had multiple offers on it. Now it's sitting for a few weeks, right? So this isn't the norm. Again, that's one little market. Other markets like Florida are still hot, Tennessee, Texas, different areas. But other markets, I'm already starting to see a slowdown, and I saw it when a rate shot up. So it's just something to think about, because that's going to affect everything. It's not just going to affect real estate, but it's going to affect stocks and cryptos and everything, right? So I just want you guys to be aware of everything going on around you. I think he does like 5 or 6 of these per day, these little YouTube shorts, which are really, really good. And then he does a longer interview. He has 2 brothers too, I think, that are involved in some of these interviews that are pretty good too. Definitely one I recommend following. He's got 385,000 subscribers, so he's got a pretty good amount. But definitely one of the guys that's been in the crypto space for at least as long as I have. He may have been there a year longer than I have, but a sharp guy. And he actually lives in Miami. So eventually I'll catch up with him one of these crypto conferences. But definitely keep watching the economy, because we're in a weird spot right now, right? I think everybody feels like, which way are things teetering? Luckily, rates dropped slightly, but they shot up after the war. So we'll see where things lead. We'll see where they go. And I apologize about going so long tonight, guys, but do you guys have any questions? Anybody have any lasting questions on anything or anything they want me to research? I got my list already here for stuff for you guys, but is there any other things you guys want me to get into? Just give you an idea, the next newsletter is going to be the top 10 metaverse. I'm going to get into the Brave browser a bit, a little bit about Terra Luna and a couple other things, but it'll be fairly short. So if no more questions, let's plan on 2 Thursdays from now. I'm actually driving up to New Jersey from Florida on Monday, taking a nice little long road trip. I'm going to stop at Jekyll Island, where the Federal Reserve was made in Georgia, there for a couple of days. Then I'm going to head to Hilton Head, South Carolina, spend a couple of days there. Got the whole family with me. So instead of doing an 18.5-hour trek, we're going to break it up at like 6 hours, and do that last, 10 hours or whatever it ends up being over the last day and a half or so. But then I'll be back, and we'll have John Dwyer talking about the life insurance, the whole life policy. He'll do a deep dive. So this could be another longer one too. We'll talk cryptos too for sure, but that'll be a deep one where he really gets deep into details. And if you guys want to ask him any questions, come armed with questions if you want to on that one, because there will be, he's a super sharp guy. He's in a mastermind I belong to. Same with Lee Arnold, same mastermind that both of us are in there. He's really, really, really good. Looks like Nick said he's heading down to from New Jersey to South Carolina. Nice. Maybe we'll catch each other there, Nick. We'll catch up at Hilton Head. So beautiful. If nothing else, guys, we'll wrap up and be ready for 2 weeks from now. I'm going to send an email out. I'll get you guys some info over the next few days here before I leave on Monday. And we'll get the details out for the next meeting on 2 Thursdays from now, which is June what?
17th.
June 16th. 16th?
Oh,
Yeah, 16th.
16th, I'm sorry. Yeah.
June 16th. So let's plan on that for now. If John has to jostle something with his schedule or if he needs to change it a day or two, I'll let you guys know well in advance, right? But right now he says he can do it. He's just going to confirm everything with me tomorrow.
Awesome.
All righty, guys. If nothing else, great seeing you again. And we will
Great
definitely
talk.
catch you in 2 weeks or less, but look for emails from me coming up.
Okay,
Thanks.
great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.